Are you confused about how much money you need to start building a custom house? Don't worry, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of figuring out how much money you need upfront to start building your new custom home. I'm Dan Nodge, founder of Emmett Leo Homes, a luxury home building company and your insider into the world of building and redesigning luxury homes. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to press the red button below to make sure you get the newest videos as soon as they come out. Building a custom home is a special event. You get to create something from the ground up, from your imagination. You get all the things you love about a house and get to design it around the way that you live, not live around the way that the house was designed. But even before you begin planning, there's often a step that people overlook, and that's understanding just how much money they need to have saved up before their build. This is not to be confused with how much you can afford to finance or how much the bank will lend you as a mortgage, which I explained in this video right here. And remember that we're talking about custom homes. These are different than if you're building a standard tract home from a tract home builder, generally in a new neighborhood. The builders and the banks have a different financing capacity, and completion mortgages are more for standard home builds where you don't have to buy the land separately. But in a custom infill project where you're buying either bare land or a tear down in an established neighborhood, the upfront money that I was mentioning is the amount you'll need to not only buy the land beforehand, but also to put down as a deposit with the builder. So let's talk about the land. Most large financial institutions will not finance bare land. This means that you have to buy it outright before you start the planning process. This can be done with a home equity line or another debt product, but remember that the amount you have to pay in debt servicing will go against your ability to borrow money on the home build itself if you need to finance it. If you're planning to buy a lot that has an existing house on it and you're going to tear it down, ensure that you add the additional costs in there. Where we live in Canada, a 2,000 square foot bungalow is about $10,000 to $15,000 to tear down and about $15,000 to $20,000 for a two-story. A little professional tip here, if you're gonna buy a property to tear down, make sure that you make your offer conditional on environmental or asbestos testing, because that'll severely add to your costs if it comes back positive or you require abatement. You can also use this as a negotiating point to bring back to the table to get a lower purchase price. Then, in order to get the ball rolling, you'll have to pay for design and planning services. As a custom home builder, we'll enter into a design and planning agreement, also referred to as a preliminary agreement, and start designing and planning your home. There's many different price points here. We'll work with our in-house architects and designers or others that we want to be part of the project to design your home depending on the requirements given. Should you want an architect to design your home separate from a builder, then you'll pay anywhere from 5 to 12% of the total estimated budget, depending on the architect and their scope of work on the project. The reason we recommend having everyone part of the planning process, including the builder and the architects and the designers and the engineers, it's because at the end you get a home designed with all the professionals' input from the beginning. You could commission an architect for a flat fee or an hourly rate to work on your project, but that's generally not how most of them work, and you'll have to pay an estimating fee on top of that once the design is done. Now, we love working with architects and the world requires their creative minds. Unfortunately, not everyone will be able to afford an architecturally designed home. That said, if you choose not to use an architect, you're still looking at about $25,000 to $35,000 for preliminary planning, estimating, and design work. Remember, we're not talking about cookie cutter suburbia homes here. This is to design a luxury custom home. The final part of your cash requirement is the deposit to your builder. This ranges from about 5 to 10% of the build budget, depending on the scope of work, the builder, and the contract. So add the cost of your land, about $30,000, and about 7% of the total estimated cost to build, and that's how much you should have in cash or available to put down to get your new custom home into planning and design. Let's run through an example. If your lot is 250 grand and your estimated budget is 800 that you can afford to finance, then it looks like this. $250,000 to buy the land. Remember, you can't get a mortgage on bare land. $30,000 for planning, estimating, and design services, and then another $56,000 or 7% of 800 grand as an initial deposit to start construction. That's a total of $336,000 in savings or accessible cash to start. Now, this video does not cover the financing part of the build, but if you want to learn more about it, click on the video on the screen right now to figure out mortgages and how to afford to finance your next home build. Thanks for watching.